best boxing content, don't forget to like, subscribe, and punch that bell for notifications.
Ladies and gentlemen, here comes Hector Camacho Jr.
And guys, Hector Camacho Jr. making his way to the ring, certainly every bit as flamboyant as his father was, Hector Macho Camacho Sr. But I think the most important thing, fellas, is Hector Camacho Jr. is the most mobile fighter David Lemieux has had to face in his young career, and he presents a test that Lemieux hasn't had to pass quite yet.
I had the pleasure of going down to Atlanta a couple of months back and watching Hector Camacho Jr. spar. And you know what? I saw a bit of brilliance in him. Every once in a while there was a bit of brilliance in him. But the knock on him is that he's a lazy fighter. And you can look, here's a kid coming up from 130, 135, and is now 160. You look at his body, over his last few fights. He's not predictive of a fighter that wants to win or a fighter that wants to be a champion.
Since his loss to Jesse James Lahoff for his first world title fight, I agree with Chris. He hasn't been the same. He hasn't been the same warrior in the gym. But tonight, like Corey said, we will see if his footwork can give a new guy like David Lemieux some problems.
We'll see if he can continue just living off the name of his father, or whether he might be able to fight like him tonight, because it's going to take a Macho Camacho performance to unseat David Lemieux, who has been on an absolute roll as of late, one of the hottest prospects in all of boxing. But Camacho has quite the good amateur background as well. He's been in there, he's a competent fighter, and again, this is probably the biggest test for Lemieux thus far in his career.
Let's go back to what Steve Mauder had said about the footwork. How much footwork can you have when you've put on 30 extra pounds? How can you move around in that ring and feel comfortable knowing that you can get tired at any time with moving that weight?
Well, like I said, we're about to find that out tonight.
Accueillons maintenant. Let's hear it for David Lemieux. Ce combat de championnat est approuvé par le Conseil mondial de la boxe et sa superviseure déléguée, Mme Danielle Gagnon. Le combat est également sous la surveillance médicale des docteurs Pierre Meunier et Marc Gagné. Ladies and gentlemen, this championship bout is sanctioned by the World Boxing Council, represented at ringside by supervisor Danielle Gagnon, and is under the medical supervision of doctors Pierre Meunier and Marc Gagné. Les juges pour ce combat, the three judges appointed at ringside to score this bout are Senor Miguel Acuna de Reynosa, Mexico, Mr. John McKay from New York City, USA, et M. Pasquale Procopio de Montréal. L'arbitre du combat, M. Michael Griffin. When the bell rings, referee Michael Griffin will handle all the action. Et maintenant, en direct du Centre Bell à Indigo et Bel Exprès Vue, Groupe YVON Michel et le Casino de Montréal vous présentent le combat principal de ce gala, 12 rounds de boxe pour le championnat WBC international des poids moyens. And now, live from the Bell Center here in Montreal, Groupe YVON Michel and le Casino de Montréal bring you tonight's main event, 12 rounds of action for the WBC International Middleweight Championship. D'abord dans le coin bleu, portant la culotte noire et orange et pesant 150 livres. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing black trunks with orange trim, his official weight, 159 pounds even. En 56 combats, il a 52 victoires, 28 par KO et un verdict nul. His professional record stands at an amazing 52 victories. 28 coming by way of knockout and one draw in 56 bouts. Natif de New York, maintenant établi à Atlanta. From New York City, fighting out of Atlanta, Georgia, USA, please welcome Hector Camacho Jr. Son adversaire dans le coin rouge porte la traditionnelle culotte Bourgogne et or et pèse 159 livres 10 onces. Across the ring, his opponent fights out of the red corner, wears his traditional burgundy trunks with gold trim. His official weight, 159.10 pounds. Il est invaincu en 23 combats avec 23 victoires, 22 par KO. He is undefeated in 23 professional bouts with a perfect 23 victories, 22 coming by way of knockout. De Laval, l'aspirant numéro 3 WBC et WBA et le champion WBC international des poids moyens. Currently ranked third by the WBC and WBA, he is the WBC International Middleweight Champion, David Lemieux.
Welcome to Montreal, Quebec, ladies and gentlemen. This is your main event here from the Bell Center. Corey Erdman alongside Steve Mulder, the IBF junior featherweight champion, and his trainer, Chris Johnson. David Lemieux set to take the biggest step of his career here against Hector Camacho Jr., really the most mobile fighter he has had to face in his young career. And we have yet to see how he will respond to a fighter that's able to get out of his way. We'll see if Camacho is able to do that at all here tonight at the Bell Center. You take a look at the tail of the tape. Lemieux, the taller fighter, has the better reach, the younger fighter, and Camacho coming way up in weight, as Chris Johnson, you alluded to earlier. He's gaining almost 20 to 30 pounds depending on where you're starting from. We'll see how he carries the weight tonight.
I just say I feel bad because for him to come in like at this weight, rolls hanging over his belly, he's just showing he does not respect the sport.
And Camacho stepping in with that jab. Lemieux showing him a bit of respect, since that's the theme here off the top.
Look for fireworks early. David Lemieux, obviously, is a knockout puncher. A lot of his fights end early. He's looking for the knockout at all times. Camacho is definitely way over his fighting weight that he should be fighting at. So I look for Lemieux to start cracking him early.
You see, Steve, the movement that you had talked about is not there. That's what I was saying before. The weight will not allow him to move and fleet-footed as he used to as a young man.
Might break his ankles.
Well, Camacho doesn't seem to be moving his feet, though, guys. Like you mentioned, he looks like, he's feinting, he's shaking his hands like his father used to. He's feinting a lot, doing a lot of head fakes, but he's not moving his feet. And I don't think that a boxer as skilled as Lemieux is going to fall for that.
That's exactly what we just said. The weight will not allow Macho, allow him to move like he used to.
Camacho feinting in and out, nice tries a good left hand, and that actually lands.
I think the left hand side. Oh, Jesus! Anytime that kid punches it, takes me off my seat.
Well, the strange thing is that you would think that Camacho has the hand speed advantage here. It looked like Lemieux actually has the quicker hands of the two.
Lemieux's a natural 160-pound fighter. Camacho's 130, 35 at best. You know, his hand speed isn't going to be what it used to be, you know, with 30 extra pounds added onto his body.
You can tell Camacho is crafty, but boy, once you get hit on that chin at that, we'll see if he can carry that weight for this fight.
And hit by not anybody, by David Lemieux, the knockout artist.
Well, contrary to what their personalities are, it's Camacho who looks a little worried in there, and Lemieux looking ever confident. And a good right hand. Camacho has to hold on.
That shook him to his heels.
And a little bit of showboating.
I thought he stepped on a jellyfish.
A little bit of macho-like dancing by David Lemieux right there.
I really appreciate the calmness out of David Lemieux. It's like he knows this victory is his. Oh, that right hand.
Might be a bit early.
That right hand. Oh, wow.
He's been here before. He's had guys hurt. In 22 of his 23 fights, he's had guys hurt.
Good right hand again by Lemieux.
He knows how to deal with it and how to take his time and be patient.
Oh, that body shot. That right hand to the body. Oh, another right hand shakes him.
Can Camacho hold on here? He doesn't seem
the size
too worried.
The size is just too much. Look at the size difference.
Camacho backing up.
Oh, and left hook.
Left hook by Lemieux. Camacho might make it out of the round here. A shaky one at best.
Oh!
And a big right hand.
Good night.
Camacho falls back.
It's over.
It's over.
No need to count.
Good night. This kid has just got too much power. My goodness.
Turn out the lights on Hector Camacho Jr. And ladies and gentlemen, you can fire up YouTube because this baby will be up there in a matter of hours. What a knockout.
Highlight reel knockout.
I'm stopping all my kids from growing up until he's out of the sport. He's got too much power.
And Russ Sandberg said before the fight, I don't know any middleweight that can stand in front of David Lemieux and take his punching power, and that holds true here tonight. What a knockout.
Wow.
And that's what the fans came here to see.
I want to know what's next for this kid. What's next? There's a lot of fighters out there. They're talking about Paul Williams. There's a whole lot of fighters. Power nullifies everything. This kid's exciting.
Russ Sandberg mentioned that maybe a title shot is in the works for March of 2011 if he were to win this bout. He has in emphatic fashion. Is that what we will see next for David Lemieux? Are we going to see him fighting for the gold next time we see him in the squared circle?
I certainly hope so. This kid deserves it. 23 knockouts out of 24 victories now. I'm looking forward to seeing him on the biggest stage with the best opposition possible and see if he can carry that power into the big fights.
It looks like Camacho's questioning if the fight over.
I don't know if he knows what happened.
I don't think he thinks he knows if it started yet.
He said, okay, I'm waiting. I'm ready to go. Oh, it's over. Wow, just a thunderous right hand. I felt and heard it all the way from Montreal.
But hats off to Camacho Jr. When you step in there with a guy with knockout power like him, you got to give credit to a guy like Hector Camacho Jr.
And late notice as well. You know, we don't know where Camacho's career will go after this. It certainly shouldn't be at 160. But Lemieux and his team, they know what happened. This is something they're very used to. Only Jason Nogler was able to stand in there with Lemieux and not get knocked out. And I have a feeling, like Russ Sandberg said, that anyone who wants to stand in front of David Lemieux, just like this, as you see on the replay, is probably going to suffer the same fate.
That was one that hurt him earlier. Wobbled him, shook him to his knees, and after that, David Lemieux knew it was going to be a matter of time.
Oh, another right hand. My goodness, this kid is just... It's like he's got hammers.
Here's the straight right hand that finishes right on the tip of the chin.
Boom! Oh.
Good night, Irene.
Did you see how his body just wilted as the shot hit? He didn't even give a moment's notice.
Watch it again right here. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the knockout of the year.
He didn't know where he was in the corner after the fight was over. He thought the fight had just begun, was waiting to begin.
Camacho just crumbling to the canvas. You can see him. The only part of his body that can lift up is his head there, and he's rather confused, as you see here in the corner.
He has no idea what's going on. They stopped the fight, he says. Wow. Wow.
Well, a brave performance by Camacho, I suppose, coming up in weight, taking the fight on short notice, and going in there against a destroyer like David Lemieux. Guys, who's going to want to get in there against David Lemieux after seeing this?
Mesdames et messieurs, le gagnant de ce combat par KO à la fin du premier round, 23 en 24, et toujours champion WBC international des poids moyens. Ladies and gentlemen, the winner of this bout by knockout at the end of the first round, 23 for 24, and still WBC International Middleweight Champion, David